39 million tons of debris are piled up around Gaza. That is the equivalent of 10 of the Great Pyramids of Giza, some contaminated with unexploded ordnances and hazardous substances like asbestos, with human remains still buried under the rubble. Gaza is facing an environmental crisis, the United Nations is warning. As Israel's onslaught on the Palestinian territory continues, the UN Environmental Program says there is a very real risk that Gaza's land, water, and air resources will be contaminated. Here's how. Deteriorating environmental conditions have already impacted Palestinians in Gaza. In the first 3 months of Israel's onslaught, the WHO recorded 179,000 cases of acute respiratory infection, 136,400 cases of diarrhea among children under the age of 5, 55,400 cases of scabies and lice, and 4,600 cases of jaundice. Gaza's environment was already impacted by repeated Israeli bombardments as part of the decades-long Israel-Palestine conflict, creating a severely degraded environment. Palestinian authorities in Gaza have over time invested in environmental management by shifting to renewable energy and building infrastructure for water desalination and wastewater treatment. But Israel's latest war on Gaza has scaled back progress, and such facilities have now collapsed, the UN says. 57% of water infrastructure and assets are now damaged or destroyed, with 5 out of 6 solid waste management facilities in Gaza reportedly damaged. This means that untreated sewage and wastewater could leak into Gaza's environment. In March 2024, an estimated 60,000 cubic meters of wastewater was emitted, mostly into the Mediterranean Sea. But it's not only the sea and its ecosystems that are in danger. So too is Gaza's porous soil, the gateway to its groundwater supply. Remember, as recently as 2021, 90% of Gaza's water supply came from groundwater wells. And then there is the risk of ammunition and hazardous chemicals in densely populated areas polluting soil and water sources. For example, the damage wrought by Israel on solar panels poses a significant risk of leaking lead into the environment. We've looked at land, we've looked at water, now let's look at air. Constant Israeli bombardment has released dust into the air that's contaminated with asbestos, organic materials, and heavy metals from munitions. This fine particulate matter poses a hazard to Gaza's population if inhaled. Incinerating waste and cooking outdoors in internally displaced camps can also increase the risk of respiratory and cardiovascular diseases due to toxic substances like dioxins and polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons being released into the air. With the clearing up of Gaza's debris set to take years and the threat of irreversible environmental damage looming, the UN is calling for an immediate ceasefire to save lives and mitigate long-term environmental effects.